conversation going now. Kaveri Seeds is the first company that we're going to speak with today. The company has seen losses expand in the fourth quarter, but for the full year, if I look at the numbers, there's been a decent revenue growth around 17%. The margin has also expanded if I look at it on a full year basis for FY23. Another good point is that revenue from exports has done quite well. So that's up 40%. The question we, of course, want to know is that can margins rebound to that 28-29% kind of levels? What is kind of revenue growth we can see? So to discuss all of that and lots more, we're actually joined now by the Executive Director of the company, C Mithun Chand, joins us now to take some questions on this. Good morning, Mr. Chand, and thanks a lot for joining us. This is Pavitra. First, if I can just ask about, the losses widening over here. We have seen some pressure over there. And on the margin front specifically, I know for the full year it looks good, but for Q4 we're definitely seeing some pressure. So can you tell us, where you see margins trending for the coming year for FY24?
Thank you. Quarter 4 is a very lean quarter for us. It only contributes less than 5% of our revenue. We should not take quarter 4 results in for any calculation purpose. And if you see the overall result for financial year 23 compared to 22, the revenues are up by 10% and the margins are up by close to 24%. Even the margins have expanded by 3% over the previous years. So that clearly shows for the entire year we have increased margins, and this was a very tough year in terms of the realizations. You see some crops like cotton or rice, even the volumes were up. The revenues are down. We were not able to realize more in those crops. But as a company being in a multi-product portfolio company, we were able to get good margins in crops like sunflower, maize, bajra and vegetables. That has helped us to increase the margin. But going forward, there's definitely a scope to increase the margins. And from this 24-25% levels, we have a scope to go to 27-28% margins in the coming years. That is quite possible for us.
So FY24 margins, Mr. Chand, can expand to 27-28%. That's the guidance.
That's a fair chance in terms of the expansion, but the margins will be maintained. But as of now, it looks like that we can expand the margins.
Got it. Since you are present across, various seeds and crops, rice, maize, cotton, bajra, vegetables, sunflower, for each of them, can you tell us what the realization was in Q4 and what the outlook is going ahead? Because you said cotton realizations were down, but for some of the others, it had improved. Can you take us through the individual numbers here?
If you split the entire revenues, like cotton, maize and rice contributes close to 80% of our revenue. These are the major crops. The other crops like vegetables, sunflower, bajra, mustard, wheat, and whatever, wherever we operate, is only 20% of the entire sale. But going forward with the major three crops, cotton, rice, and maize, we have a fair chance of increasing revenues and realizations in these crops, apart from the smaller crops like bajra and vegetables. So we see quite possibility of increasing the margins, and the product is also very healthy.
And what will drive that?
Sorry?
What will be the driver of this realization expansion in cotton, maize and rice?
Cotton last year was a very tough year in terms of the market. Usually in terms of the competition, in terms of the availability of the seed, in terms of the shrinking acreages, it was very tight, very, very tough dealing with cotton last year. This time the overall inventory in the market is also lower. We have lower inventory in the company, and as a strategy, we are trying to increase realizations, and the price also has gone up 5% compared to the previous year. So these all helps to increase the realization in cotton. Last year, whereas in rice acreages were down last year, but we have increased our revenues and volumes in rice last year. So we have gained market share. This time we might be able to capitalize whatever we have gained market share last year. And maize, anyhow, it's a very good crop. The realizations are good in maize. So these all will definitely make us to improve the margins in the coming year.
Okay, got that. By the way, I just want to point out for our viewers, the market is now making fresh lows. There's a lot of pressure that's quite evident. 70 points down on the Nifty, and the mid-cap index has also turned negative. That's just a side note on the market because the pressure is quite clear and quite visible now. But just to round things up, Mr. Chand, I want to get back to the millet side of things. You did mention that bajra and the other related crops, that's just 20% of your business right now. The government seems to be very focused on millets. We keep hearing a lot, there's a huge campaign as well to promote growth of millets. Do you see any opportunities there, and what's the outlook on this 20% part of your revenue pie as of now?
Millets is a very good crop and a very profitable crop compared to other crops. We see a growth in millets in the coming years. This year we have grown by more than 40% with a small base. But Bajra as a portfolio in a company has got a good scope to grow up to 100 crores in the coming years. So government pushing millet will also help us, and we are the very few companies who operate in hybrid Bajra. And we have a decent market share in that, and the new pipeline hybrids are also very encouraging for us in Bajra. So definitely both from the government help and from the penetration part, we think that the Bajra will definitely do support us in the next 3 to 5 years. That's an area where we need to look at.
Okay, you'll be looking at that. Just to understand, out of the the 3-4 crops that we've spoken of, cotton, maize, rice, and bajra, which ones fetch the highest margins and which are the low margin crops?
Basically, as of now, cotton is a very low margin crop. Bajra is a high margin crop. But if you see the volume, if you see the revenue contribution from these crops, cotton and rice and maize, these are the 3 major crops which contribute. Cotton around 35%, maize around 25%, rice around 25%. So these are the crops which contribute more. So definitely we need to have higher margins in this, and maize and rice we have decent margins in that. No need to worry about that. Cotton is the only crop where we have lost some sort of margins last year, but all are comparable or are in between 20 to 30%, whereas vegetables, bajra, sunflower are close to 45-50% margins.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Mr. Chand, thank you very much for joining in. We'll slip